So for the past 2 weeks in the Art of Game Design class, we've been learning about what fundamentally makes a video game and board game. So for the first week we learned about mainly board games and how mechanics and story work to create a good game. And we actually got to work on creating and modifying an already existing board game and turning a video game that we like and using its mechanics and turning it into a board game. And then this second week, this past week, we've been working on creating our own video games using what we've learned and what makes a good video game, so story, mechanics, stuff like that.
My game is called PunchBot. The main character is PunchBot, a robot that likes to punch things. It's a very simple story, but that's because it's also a very simple game. Basically, you have enemies that are chasing you down and you gotta charge up a punch, and the punch will let you dash across the floor, and if you hit an enemy with that punch, then they'll get punched. And you're trying to basically kill all the enemies, and you'll get the rewards like the bones or the blood that they drop. And if you want to start on easy mode, then you can.
My group are making you're playing as the dungeon master effectively, and you have to make all the monsters to defeat the heroes. And so I've been making a bunch of sprites for it, like all the different monsters and the heroes, the animations, and my partner has been making all of the code, and I think it's coming up pretty well. There isn't much of a gameplay yet. You're supposed to be able to create monsters to fight against like oncoming waves of heroes. But so far, it's more of just, we have combat mechanics, and that's impressive enough. We're learning like this whole new thing of code. Hopefully we'll have something a bit more polished by the complete end of the program.
The game I'm making is a platformer, kind of similar to Mario, except for the caveat is you cannot jump. So there's puzzles designed based on the mechanic that you can't jump, and you can go basically back and forth and attack enemies, and I think it'll be really fun. Oh, the story of my game? Oh, so we actually got a theme for the game we have to create, and the theme was 80s. So the story I created was there was a village of peaceful circle people, and then an evil 80s sorcerer turns them into cubes, and they have to go on an adventure to stop this evil 80s sorcerer.
My game is a horror game made on RPG Maker, and you play as a little girl on the class field trip where they go to an amusement park. And you end up losing your group, which is the #1 rule you're not supposed to do. You gotta stick with your buddies. So you end up losing your buddy in the haunted mansion aspect. And when you leave, the world has changed to show how terrified you are because you're a little kid.
So at the end of the day, it's dangerous to go out there alone. Take these.